few more things that we're going to come across in algebra are the idea of like terms and combining them to start a question, as well as how to work with parentheses or brackets, and we'll see those in the second part of this video. But first, we're looking to combine like terms in this question. So what that means is we want to lump together the g's that we have in this particular example that are on the same side of the equation. We have 8g, and then we have subtract 14g, both on the same side. So we can combine them because they're both g's. 8g subtract 14g, that'd be negative 6g. The plus 11 doesn't change, that's still there. And on the right side, we have minus 2g subtract 5. So all we did is we took and consolidated the 8g subtract 14g just to start off our question. Now it's just like any other question that we've dealt with. We'll try to solve for g. So we're going to, I'll start by eliminating this minus 6g. So we would do minus 6g plus 11. The opposite of subtracting 6g would be to add 6g, so we'll do that to both sides. And then we have negative 2g minus 5, and we do the same to both sides, so we have to add 6g over here as well. These two cancel, leaves us just with 11 on the left-hand side. On the right-hand side, we combine the minus 2g plus 6g, so we get 4g to positive 4g. Next, we want to try to get rid of the minus 5. We'll do that by adding 5 to both sides. And on the left, 11 minus 5, that's 6. On the right-hand side, 4g, subtract 5, add 5, those two cancel out, so we're just left with 4g. Now our next step is going to be to get g by itself, is to divide both sides by 4, so we'll do that next. We'll divide by 4, divide by 4. Now, some people panic at this point because they say, oh wait, 4 doesn't go into 6 evenly. You can't divide 6 by 4 evenly. That's okay, you can't. It's true, there's no way to put it in evenly, but that's okay. 6 out of 4, 6 over 4, we could rewrite as a simplified fraction as 3 over 2. If we really wanted to, we could write it as a decimal as well. We could say g equals 3 over 2. Well, that goes 1.5. 2 goes into 3 1.5 times, so we could write it as 1.5. Fraction is usually the ideal way to write it, but you can also write it as the decimal. Either one's fine. So I'll give you a second to look at this example. Can give this one a try. Pause the video if you like. We're going to start by combining like terms. The right-hand side has a minus 3w, and then it has a minus 2w over here. So we're going to start by combining those. So that will look like this. We'll have 6w minus 5. Left doesn't change. And then equals minus 3w minus 2w. Well, that's minus 5w. The plus 17 doesn't change. And now it's just like any question we would have solved before. But maybe we'll start by getting rid of this minus 5w. So we'll do that by adding 5w to both sides. So that eliminates the two 5w's on the left, negative and a positive 5w. Or sorry, on the right. On the left, we have 6w and 5w. That combines to make 11w, subtract 5. And then on the right, those two eliminate, so we just are left with a 17. And to get w by itself, we'd next want to get rid of the minus 5, so we'd add 5 to both sides. So 11w subtract 5, add 5, and that equals 17 plus 5. The minus 5 plus 5 cancel out, leaves us just with 11w on the left, and 17 and 5 is 22. So our last step is going to be to divide both sides by 11. We do this to both sides, and it gets the w by itself. Because divide and multiply by 11, cancel out. 11 goes into 22 twice, so w equals 2. Again, I'll invite you to go back and check this, put the w back in, put the 2 back in for w, sorry, here, here, and here. You'd have to put it in 3 times to check this. Hopefully it works out. Another thing that we run across in algebra is sometimes we deal with parentheses or brackets, sometimes they're called. So this 4u subtract 12 is inside a bracket, and there's a 2 outside of it like that. In algebra, whenever we have two things kind of sandwiched up against each other, like the 2 and this parentheses, what that means is it means multiply. So the way we're going to deal with something like this, to start off, I'll rewrite the left side because nothing's going to change there. 9u subtract 15. The way we're going to deal with this, though, is we're going to take the 2 that's outside the brackets and we're going to multiply it by both terms inside the bracket. There's 2 terms inside, 4u and then a subtract 12. So we're going to get rid of the parentheses, we're going to multiply the 2 in by both of them. And that's going to give us, 8u subtract 24. Because 2 multiplied by 4 is 8. So it makes 8u. And then 2 multiplied by 12 is 24. And now it's just a question that we would have dealt with before. It's the same exact way of dealing with it. But now we don't have those parentheses anymore. We got rid of them. So to solve this, we'll look to maybe get rid of the 8u on either side. So we'll do subtract 8u on both sides. We're going to do an equals and then 8u subtract 24 and then subtract 8u. These guys here on the right cancel out. 8u minus 8u leaves us just with a negative 24 on the right-hand side. And doesn't that work out nicely on the left? 9u minus 8u, that's just u minus 15. You could put the 1 in front of the u. I'm going to leave it out because that's how you'll see it written more often than not. Next, we want to get rid of the minus 15. So we'll do the opposite of minusing 15, which is to add 15. And we do that to both sides, so we got to add a 15 to that negative 24. On the left side, these two cancel one another out, leaves us just with the u on the left side. Minus 24 plus 15, that's going to be minus 9. Please go back and to the first and try putting it back in to see if it works out. When you put it back in here for the u that's inside the parentheses, just remember, you could work it out using BEDMAS. So you'll multiply this negative 9 by the 4 here, and you'll get negative 36. And you'll subtract 12 from that, right? You'll do everything inside the brackets first in BEDMAS, and then you'll multiply it by the 2 outside. That'll be the process you go through to check that step. And here's one where we've got 2 ideas combined together here, the idea of combining like terms and parentheses. So I'll give you a second if you want to pause this video and practice what we just learned. Be a good opportunity to do that. So for this question, we're going to combine the like terms on the left side of the equation. We've got a 2j and a 7j. So if we combine those, then we end up with 9 It's kind of dark, actually. We combine those to get 9. That's dark, too. 9j, subtract 3. And on the right side, we have some parentheses that we have to deal with. The 4 gets multiplied, remember, by both things inside the bracket. So we're going to multiply it by the 3 and the j. So we get 12 plus 4j. And now it's a question just like any other that we've dealt with before. The goal of this question is going to be get j by itself. We'll get rid of the 4j first, perhaps here, 9j minus 3. To get rid of the 4j, we'll subtract 4j on both sides. And when we do that, we get 5j subtract 3 on the left, and on the right we just get 12. Next we want to get rid of the minus 3, so we do 5j minus 3. The opposite of minusing 3 would be to add 3. And we do that to both sides. That leaves us on the left with 5j. 12 and 3 is 15. And we'll slide that up a bit. 5j equals 15. Last but not least, we have to divide both sides now by 5 to get that j by itself, and we end up with j equals 15 divided by 5 is 3. So that's a nice question where it combines the two ideas of brackets and parentheses. And combining like terms, right? We had to start off by taking the 7 and the 2j and combining them.